All right. So, where we left off, we were witnessing the battle between our character, who we have on the left-hand side, Miyamoto Musashi, and our character on the right. Yo, what are they doing out there? I know you hear that. And our character on the right-hand side, Honda Todakatsu. You see the narrator talking. You know, they're just giving us a little refresher. In order to determine the new shogun, Oda Nobunaga, the Demon King, the current shogun, is holding a battle between representatives of respective lords, or prospective lords rather, in the country, the Tenkaichi. They're fighting to see who the strongest, I forgot to plug in my little remote. They're fighting to see who the strongest warrior in all of Japan is. And whatever lord brings Oda Nobunaga the strongest warrior will inherit all of Japan. So the first match is between two martial arts masters. Again, just a little recap. The first match is between two martial arts masters, Honda Todakatsu representing Lord Tokugawa and Miyamoto Musashi representing Lord Chosokabe. And again, like they said last time, this is not history as we know it. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna put up a little poll. I'm not gonna put it up yet. But we're looking at the 16-year-old Musashi, right? He's not doing too well in this squabble right now. Okay, he's keeping up, but he's clearly on the losing end. You can see he's sweating, he's bleeding out of his mouth, he's panting, breathing heavy. And we look at Honda, the experienced warrior, the person who's been in battle 57 times and didn't get a scratch till today. He looks like he's in much better condition than Musashi. So, you know, these two are staring down each other, you know, standing off. In Musashi, he just picked up a second sword, right? He went from wielding a wooden sword to wielding one metal bladed sword to wielding two swords. But the thing about Musashi, the thing that's allowing him to stay in the fight is the fact that he keeps essentially adapting, right? Every time he gets pushed into a corner, he just gets stronger, right? So even in his beat up position, right? Even with him being all messed up, you see the bruises all over him, the sweat, the blood, even in the position that he's in now, he's still hype as hell, bro. He's out here talking about, oh yeah, this feels great. And so actually, I'm gonna put up the poll right now, bro. I'm gonna put up the poll right now. We're gonna see who y'all rooting for. And we're gonna see who y'all want to win between Musashi and Honda Tadakatsu. You know, just curious to see what type of timing y'all are on right now. But Musashi, he's standing there, right? He's like, oh yeah, this shit feels great. He's hype as hell right now. You know, he's chilling. He's big chilling despite being beat up. You know, everyone, Nobunaga, the person who's running the tournament, he's impressed. We got Tokugawa, the person representing Honda. We got Musashi's pops and Chosokabe, the person representing Musashi. And even Chosokabe, the person representing Musashi, is like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like, what is going on right now? Everyone's staring at Musashi, confused about how he's still standing up right now, right? Even Honda's looking at Musashi. He's like, yo, he just picked up two swords? Is bro bluffing? Like, what is bro on right now? And then he's like, nah, my instincts are warning me right now. This is this guy's strongest combat form. Like, shit is about to get real right now. But he's like, hey, even so, he lifts up his spear. You know, he gets in the battle stance. He's like, those are just swords. I don't care what stance he has next. And Musashi's thinking, he's like, oh yeah, whatever stance is coming next, Honda, he winds back his spear and he lets that shit rip, bro. He beams it at Musashi at full speed. Musashi, he's barely able to react fast enough to dodge, right? He hits the little weave move, the shit flies by him, crushes into the wall behind him, makes a big ass crater, already glazing. In case you've forgotten, the spear was split in half, and this was the half of the spear that didn't have a blade on it. So he made a crater in a wall with a blunt spear. Anywho, Musashi's like, yo, did that shit come from a cannon? He turns around a little bit, but the moment he looks back, Tadakatsu, he grabs his other end of the spear, the sharp end, he pulls it out the ground, and while Musashi's turned around, he lines that joint up to his face, ready to stab him right through. Musashi turns around, he's like, yo, what is going on right now, bro? Honda lets that spear come down. Everyone watching is like, yo, this dude, he's moving crazy right now. Like, he's moving unexpected. And not only that, he's getting faster. He's getting too fast for Musashi to keep up with. He brings the spear down on Musashi, right? We see this big explosion of debris and everything flying. We see sonic booms flying in the air. That's one thing. That's one thing about this manga, bro. They're gonna glaze the fighters, bro. Like, the narrator be glazing the hell out of these fighters, bruh. But everybody's looking. They're looking at the battlefield, and Musashi, he just lets out a laugh. You're thrust. They continue to get crazier, old head. I might have died if not for these. He managed to block Honda's thrust with his two swords. Honda's like, yo, he was able to parry at that speed. I've never seen nothing like this before. And Musashi's like, hey, young, you better pay attention right now. He's like, hey, young, you better pay attention right now, because these swords I'm using right now, these joints aren't made out of wood anymore. These are real deal swords. All of a sudden, he hits his attack, right? He plants his foot. Single heaven, dragon's reverse ascent. Slashes that boy Honda dead across the chest, faster than he can even react. Honda, bear in mind, he has never gotten scratched in battle until this day. This is the second time he's getting scratched in one battle. Everybody watching is like, oh shit. This 16-year-old just managed to hit a slash against Honda Tadakatsu. He slashed him again, square across the chest. That slash bout deep as hell, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Honda, he's like, he steps back. He's like, he's caught off guard. So he tries to take a step back, get some space. Musashi's thinking to himself, he's like, damn, I could only slice through his skin. I could only slice through his flesh. I couldn't reach any bone or anything. My sword doesn't reach him. But now that he stopped moving and he goes in to hit him with both swords at once, but Tadakatsu, he puts up his spear and blocks the two sword blades with the wooden end of his spear. Musashi's like, oh, he's not backing down. And Tadakatsu, he's like, well, those two swords of yours, right? He's bleeding now. He's bleeding, blood is pooling onto the ground, but he's like, those two swords, my instincts were right. Musashi, right? He's trying to push these swords through Tadakatsu's spear. He's like, I slashed his chest, and yet he's still up, like he's still out here squabbling. And Honda, he's starting to have fun too, right? You see the smile cracking over his face. He's like, you're the most thrilling guy I ever fought. We get a look at Tokugawa, earlobes, the dude who's representing Honda Tadakatsu. He's like, whoa. He's in awe, right? You got to realize, old head over here, he's been fighting with Honda Tadakatsu forever now, and this is like the first time he's seeing bro struggle in battle. And so he's sitting here, he's like, yo, we have a literal actual child, a minor out here who's pushing back Honda Tadakatsu. All of a sudden, a voice comes from behind him. My word, this is astonishing. We get a look up at the roof. We see another dude standing up there, right? He on some ninja shit, right? He up there squatted, posed up. He's like, that musclehead, he's been wounded twice. Just who exactly is this kid? Tokugawa turns around. He's like, oh, you're here? Hanzo? And this is apparently someone called the Demon of the Spear. Someone named Hattori Hanzo. Keep this guy in mind. Anytime you see them get introduced with their name like this, they're an important character. He might end up being a part of the tournament himself. He jumps off the roof. He's like, I've missed you, Tokugawa. Apparently these two know each other. And Tokugawa's like, yo, what are you doing, bro? You can't come down here. Like, you're not allowed to come uninvited on the battlefield. Bro doesn't care, bro. He's just watching. Apparently he knows Tadakatsu. He's just watching. He's like, whoa, that muscle idiot. He seems to be having a hard time. I never seen him struggle like this before. And he's looking out, right? He's getting a better analysis. Apparently he can squabble too, right? And so he can kind of give us a better analysis on what's going on in the fight. He's like, oh yeah, I see what's going on. that kid, he's getting stronger with every blow. He has so much potential. And Musclehead, on the other hand, you know, he starts analyzing how Tadakatsu is fighting. He's like, Musclehead, on the other hand, it's about time. Tokugawa looks at him. He's like, time for what? And he's like, you know what Musclehead's big weakness is? He too damn strong, bro. He's too damn strong. He's never had to fight at his full strength. He's so strong, his body doesn't know how to give it his all. And he's like, the only time he's ever given it his all, you remember that one time he's talking to Tokugawa, and Tokugawa's like, that one time, we get a flashback 30 years ago. 30 years ago, flashback, bro. Whenever you get a flashback in this manga, bro, you know it's gonna be some insane level glaze. Insane level glaze. We get a flashback to 30 years ago. First year of the Genki era. It's a battle going on, as you can see. But this battle's going on, right? And we're told by the narrator that there was a battle between the joint forces of Oda and Tokugawa and the unified Azai and Asakura army. So basically, you know, big ass battle taking place. Tokugawa, he's earlobes. His army is fighting another army. Now, Tokugawa, earlobes, he only had an army of 5,000 men clashing against Asakura's 10,000 men. And, you know, they're saying it was like a serious battle, you know, people were getting slain, but eventually, since they were facing double the manpower, you know, their abilities started to waver, their morale started to waver, and they started getting pushed back. They were getting close to surrendering. We get a look at young Tokugawa, right? Earlobes back when he was a bit younger, and he's receiving reports, bro. They're coming to him like, hey, bro, we're getting smoked out there. I think we got to surrender. Tokugawa's like, fuck, bro, there really isn't anything we could do. Maybe we should just surrender. And all of a sudden, someone runs through. My lord, big news. What is it now? The dude, he's like, you know, he's breathing hard as hell, right? Like he came to deliver this message. He's like, it's about Tadakatsu. Tadakatsu has come. Now we get the narrator, right? The glazer, the professional glazer. He's like, yeah. So, you know, when this battle was going on, things were looking bleak. But all of a sudden, right when things started looking bad, things started getting worse. There was someone on the enemy army. This dude right here, okay? Bro looked like a straight monkey. I'm not going to hold you. But he was absolutely crazy, bro. He was raising down enemy fighters like it was nothing. His target was Tokugawa's head. He was fighting for the opposing army. And his goal, I mean, it was simple, bro. He was a scrapper. He wanted to end them here. He wanted to kill them once and for all. Now, this guy right here, Asakura Makura or something like that, he wielded this giant sword with a 7-foot long blade. And they say this nigga was the strongest warrior in the north. I mean, you can see this dude, he literally just cleaved dead through someone right here, right? So you could tell he's on timing, bruh. But you know, this guy right here, he's going into battle, doing whatever. All of a sudden, someone calls out for him, right? One of his men calls out for him. Makura, something's coming. He's like, what, reinforcements? The guy's like, nah, bro, that's not reinforcements. I don't see no troops. Bro, that's one person. We get a look at one person on a horse, bruh, cleaving through the enemy army. It's a singular horseman on a singular horse coming towards him. He got on like this big ass samurai gear. Got like these antlers coming out of his shit. I'm not gonna lie. His shit looks cold. I won't even hold you. But turns out that this person right here is actually Honda Tadakatsu. And this was basically like the day where the legend of Tadakatsu was born, right? This was the day where, you know, he showed his full potential for the one time in his life. This one man, this one lone horseman on horseback apparently took down 10,000 men of Asakura, bro. 10,000 men. We get a look at Tadakatsu, right? All of a sudden, steam starts erupting from his mouth, right? He's like, He's getting hot. He's literally heating up. He rips off his armor just because it's too damn hot. And all of a sudden, now that his armor's off, right, you know, his horse can move better. He's lighter. He got more mobility. He's just running through, razing through this enemy army. The other dude, the monkey dude, he's on the other side. He's like, oh yeah, this guy looks like a real scrapper. I want to test my mettle against this guy. He, you know, winds back his 7-foot sword. They introducing himself, right? He's like, oh yeah, a single horseman against 10,000 people? Yeah, you gotta be stupid, bro. Give me your name before you die. Honda, he lifts up his spear, right? Nigga gives him the full government name. Our name is Honda Hachihiro Tadakatsu, and I'm fine with being an utter fool. It is my fate. Veins bulging out of his face, bro, right? He's sweating. He's looking crazy. These two, they go at each other. Sword versus spear. Almost like it's mirroring what's happening right now. But we get a look at Tadakatsu, and this dude looks absolutely crazy. His body is overheating to the point where it's glistening with sweat, where steam is arising from him. And the narrator tells us that this one man fought against an army of 10,000. Now, apparently, when Tadakatsu's body is exposed to extreme enough situations, he essentially unlocks like a quirk type shit, right? His body becomes hot enough to emit steam, and his physical strength, judgment, and reaction speed all reach a new level far beyond that of an ordinary human. Essentially, he has like a Monkey D. Luffy gear second. We get a look at Hanzo, the ninja guy who was watching the fight, and he's like, you know, he's watching Tadakatsu, right? He's coming up, right? Because he didn't expect this. He didn't expect Tadakatsu to go 1 versus 10,000 and win an army. And so he's like, bro, you good? And then we're said, everybody watching, they all witnessed it, bruh. The steam arising from Tadakatsu's back, it formed a halo around him, bruh. And his body glistened and shone radiantly like stars are coming off that joint. He swings his spear through the blade of the monkey dude. And we get a look at the monkey dude. He's like, that appearance, it must be the Virgin. No, 2 kings. He's thinking he's looking at a god right now. And we get a look at the follow through from Tadakatsu's swing. He sonic boom swings this dude off of his horse and into the distance. And we get a look at Hanzo, who was watching that whole thing. He was like, oh yeah, Honda, he got it, bro. That muzzle-headed idiot, he's really something different. We cut back to the present where, you know, he's watching Tadakatsu in his current fight against Musashi. And he's like, oh yeah, I've seen him go all out before. Nah, he's got to win this fight, bro. I've seen the power of the man named Honda Tadakatsu. Everyone's watching him square off with Musashi, right? He's blocking the dude's sword blades with his spear, and all of a sudden, his body starts getting hot again. Musashi's like, bro, what the hell? What's going on? All of a sudden, boom! He gets knocked back. He's like, yo, what is going on? He suddenly unlocked more power. Where is this coming from? Everyone in the audience is like, oh shit. They're all witnessing this shit in 4K, bro. They're witnessing it in front of their face. And then we get a full page spread, the most glaziest shit I've seen in my life of Tadakatsu's next form. The brilliant hardened body, bro. We get a look at this dude. He got steam coming out of his mouth, bro. Steam blowing off of his shoulders, bro. His body is glistening like it's stars in the cosmos. And we get a look at what the narrator has to say. The narrator basically explains that with a truly worthy opponent, aka Musashi, this body, which had been called Tokugawa's strongest weapon, had achieved its greatest potential output. So, bro basically went Super Saiyan right here, right now, bro, in front of all of our faces. He's like, well then, it's about time for Ieyasu, Earlobes, to take over this country. It's time for me to win this fight for Earlobes. The narrator tells us, Tenkaichi, round 1. The battle between the scorching hot Neo and the limitless genius. The conclusion draws near. And then we just get another glazed spread of this dude's body, bro. He looks absolutely demonic right now. Now we get a look at Musashi, right? He's like, yo, did bro just get bigger? Like, what's going on? We get a look at Tokugawa's and right, Hanzo's hype as shit. He's like, yes, sir. Bro finally showed his true power. We get a look at Musashi's and Choso Kabe, the person representing Musashi. He's like, oh, what the hell is that? You know, he's getting scared, bro. He thinks his representative is about to go down. Honda, he's like, yeah, let's get it started. Let's go, boy. And then we get another full page spread of this dude. The glaze is crazy. And bro, I'm not gonna lie, he looks like a literal god. I will give your corpse a proper burial in Otaki. Now die in peace. We get a look at Musashi's reaction. How do you think Musashi's reacting right now? You're just an old head, but you can still kick it in the gear, huh? Everybody watching, they're like, yo, is this nigga laughing? And, you know, they say, the narrator tells us everybody watching right now could sense that the energy between the two contenders had reached its peak. Everybody can sense that the final blow was near. And these two, they start, you know, anime talking to each other. I must admit, fighting you has been rather fun. And, you know, Musashi's like, you know, right back at you, Pops. Thanks to you, I was able to get stronger. Honda's like, true. But the thing about that, he plants his foot. Doom. Is that ends here. All of a sudden, he speed blitzes forward toward Musashi. Musashi is just barely able to put his swords out in front of him in time and weave, but as he's trying to weave, he's like, yo, this dude got even faster. He sees the spear blade right in front of his face, barely has enough time to dodge it as Tadakatsu activates his next attack, Tempest Strike. You know, Musashi, he's trying to bounce around, right? Avoid these strikes, but he can barely, as fast as he is, as much as he can adapt, he can barely avoid these strikes. He's like, bro, how much faster can this dude go? He's sliding backwards, right? He's like, just when I thought I caught up, just when I thought I was strong enough to handle this dude, he goes crazy again. All of a sudden, we look up. Tadakatsu's in the air, right? He's about to drop his spear on Musashi. You know, he's giving him advice, bro. He's like, hey, young buck, never drop your head on the battlefield, bro. I'm gonna make you pay for that one. He hits his next attack, Boulder Strike. Musashi's pops, he's watching. He's like, oh shit, that can't be good. From the angle this attack is coming, he can't dodge, he can't guard. Musashi tries to guard, but we get a look at how they represent this attack, and they represent it as a literal boulder falling on this dude's head, bruh. Musashi, he's trying to hold up this boulder, right? He's like, yo, this shit is heavy. This shit is heavy. He can barely hold it. At the last second, Musashi is very agile, very slippery. He manages to slip away from the attack, right? And the attack hits the ground and like shatters the ground around him. It's absolutely crazy, right? But Musashi, he's like, yo, this power that this dude has, it's inhuman. It's crazy. How did he do that? Everybody watching is like, yo, this dude managed to parry Honda Todakatsu's downward swing. And not just that, not only did he parry it at the same time, he's so fast that he was able to find an opening right after parrying the swing. All of a sudden, Musashi sees it. He's like, I see it. I see my chance. If this was Demon Slayer, if he was Tanjiro, he would be seeing the string right now, right? The cling. He sees his opening. He swings. Honda disappears. He's like, yo, did this nigga just hit an instant transmission? Where the fuck is this nigga? He's gone. We get a look at where this nigga went. This nigga hit the craziest weave move I have ever seen in my life. His whole body, big swole ass motherfucker, his whole body bent over, bruh, folded like an omelet. Well, I gotta take a drink after that. I gotta take a sip of water. His whole body folded like an omelet. Musashi's like, what the hell? He's below me? All of a sudden, right? Musashi thought he had the opening. Nah, Tadakatsu done turned the table. He's like, you made quite the big swing there. Your inexperience and eagerness to win is really starting to show, because you got to remember, Musashi may have the talent, but Tadakatsu, he has the experience. All of a sudden, zah! He swings his spear forward. Musashi tries to dodge it, but he gets tagged, right? He's like, yeah. He jumps backwards, right? But he got hit. All of a sudden, something goes flying, lands in Musashi's father's hand. Tadakatsu's like, I intended to end it there, to pierce you right in the center of your body, but of course you managed to dodge it, you slippery, you sly guy. We get a look at this dude's father. Chosokabe, the dude representing Musashi, he's like, yo, what is that just flew off the battlefield? Musashi's pops, he looks down at his hand. That's flesh and bone. That nigga hole punched Musashi's ribs out of his body and into his pops' hand. Tell me that's not insane, bro. Tell me that's not insane. I'm sorry, bro. Musashi, he's got a gaping hole where his ribs should be, right? He's bleeding out. Everybody's watching, right? Different reactions from everybody. Obviously, the people in Honda Tadakatsu's in, they're like, yes, sir. We finally get to see Musclehead's true power. We get a look at Yagyu. I don't know if you niggas remember Yagyu from the last time, but Yagyu, he a strange guy, bruh. He starts licking his lips. He's like, this is far more than even I'd imagined. So this is the Kongo Neo. This is Honda Tadakatsu's true power. He looks over at Musashi. He's like, on the other hand, this Miyamoto Musashi guy, he didn't die from that. You know, I gotta give him props. He didn't die. But with his ribs broken like that, I don't know how much longer he can last. I don't know if he can move with that same agility that he had before. Everybody else watching the fight, they're looking around. They're like, yo, his bones are showing from under his skin. He's bleeding a ton. With those injuries, fighting against someone like Honda, Musashi, he doesn't stand a chance anymore. Musashi, we get a look at him. He's not looking too great, right? You can tell he's in pain now. He's not laughing no more. And Honda, he's like, look, kid, you're young. You've got talent. If you surrender here, you will survive and have plenty of opportunities to make a name for yourself in life. Just put it down, bro. It's not worth your life. It's not worth your life, bro. You know, he trying to talk some sense into him. Musashi's like, so you're just telling me I should give up? Chosokabe, the person representing Musashi, he's like, no. If he doesn't do something, we'll lose. We'll be eliminated. Musashi's father just closes his eyes. Musashi, survive and make a name for myself. Nigga looks absolutely demonic. You must be fucking with me, right? You may be the stronger one right now. And if I ran away from you right here, right now, and lived the full life, I could eventually become stronger than I am now. Hell, I may even become stronger than you. But the thing is that fighting you right here, right now, is going to make me even more strong. We get the glazed panel of Musashi. Miyamoto Musashi does not turn tail and run away. He takes the quickest and shortest route to being the strongest. If a man ain't willing to put his life on the line, then how can he be the strongest martial artist? How can he be the Tenkaichi? Everyone who's watching Musashi, they're like, yo, this dude, he's still got motivation. He's still tweaking. Like, this guy is different. Honda Tadakatsu, he lets out a laugh. He's like, you know, you have a good point there. All right, you know what? It's about time I finish this. It's about time I, make sure Gramps is advancing to the next round. So I'll respect your decision. I'ma just send you to hell right now. Nigga looks absolutely demonic. All of a sudden, Tadakatsu, he starts praying. He starts he starts chanting. I'm not even going to try to read what he's saying, but we come to find out that as this nigga is praying, as this nigga is chanting, this nigga is saying a prayer for Musashi. He lines up his spear, and we're told that after saying his prayer to Musashi, he assumed his final stance. Musashi, on the other hand, he sees him assuming this stance, and he's like, okay, this what we're doing now? Say less. Musashi, he gets into a stance of his own. We get a look at Oda Nobunaga, the shogun, the person who is literally in charge of, this tournament, right? The person who's putting this tournament on. He starts sniffing the air. He a weird nigga, bro. He's like, I can smell it. The scent of death. Musashi, he puts his hand to the ground, bro. Fist to pavement, bro. Knuckles to dirt. And we get a look at his stance. It's a completely original stance, bro. Something nobody has ever seen before. We're told not a single person, not a single martial artist had ever assumed this stance before. It was an absolutely bizarre stance. We get a closer look at Musashi, right? He's muttering to himself. He's like, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you. He's off a bean right now, bro. He is tweaking, bro. This kid is not right in the head, in case you couldn't tell already. And yeah, he's going crazy right now, bro. He's like, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you. Just keep talking to himself. Everybody watching, they're like, yo, what type of stance is that? What is this kid doing? Even the people representing him like, yo, is that even martial arts? What is bro doing? Hanzo, he's like, I've never seen a stance quite like that before. And now, right, Tokugawa, Earlobes, the person who's in charge of Tadakatsu, he's like, yo, Tadakatsu, don't let your guard down, bro. Don't underestimate this kid. I need you to win at any cost and come back to me alive. We see the steam still erupting from Tadakatsu's body. His body's glistening. He's like, so what do you plan to do right now? Now that we're at the very end, they're basically staring each other down. He's thinking to himself, he's like, this was fun. This was a fun battle. I'd never met no one like you in my life before. But right now, I'm here to win this country for Gramps. I will be the Tenkaichi. All of a sudden, goddamn lightning bolts start coming out of his eyes, bro. He got a double halo surrounding him, steam flying out of his body. He's going crazy, and he's like, I won't give that up to anyone. We get a look at Musashi. A bird is flying overhead. And as this bird is flying by, a single feather drops to the ground. The feather, it drifts by Musashi's face, and the moment it gets within his line of sight, Musashi takes off. We're told by the narrator that Musashi moved just a moment sooner than Tadakatsu. He started in a similar manner to the modern day track and field start. For those of you who know track and field, you get in a 3-point stance. I mean, it can apply to football too. A lot of sports where you need an explosive start, you're going to get in a 3-point stance so that you can have a strong first step. And we're told, the Musashi Glaze is about to go crazy, but we're told that by converting gravity into propulsive force, he was able to achieve the greatest initial velocity possible. And that right now, Musashi achieved the fastest first step in mankind's history. All of a sudden, Musashi darts forward, right? And, Tadakatsu, he's like, oh shit, this nigga's moving crazy. And what's even crazier is that he's made himself so small. He's assumed a position in which I barely have any room to miss. He's made himself a small target. Tadakatsu, he lines up his spear, but he's like, that's the thing. That's the thing, boy. My spear, you may be small, but my spear is capable of even striking birds out of mid-flight. All of a sudden, whoosh, he swings the spear forward. Musashi looks up. There, he adjusts his positioning a little bit, and right before the spear hits him, Musashi jumps into the air over the spear. Tadakatsu, he wasn't expecting this. He was like, oh shit. And Hanzo, he's watching on the side. He's like, oh man, I see what was happening now. I see what Musashi's plan was. He purposely rushed at Tadakatsu at full speed and made himself small to limit where he could aim so that he can lure him into an easy to read attack. We get a look at Musashi. He's in midair now, right? His swords wound back. Both of his swords wound back. His body is still bleeding out, right? Part of his rib cage is still missing. He's barely able to move through all of this pain, but we see him. He's gritting through it, bro. He's telling his body to hang in there, right? He swings his swords back, bringing back a vortex of air with it, ready to hit his final blow. He swears up and down that he is going to win this fight. All of a sudden, Honda takes in a deep breath of air. Somehow, he manages to draw in his spear just in time before Musashi can hit him. You got to think about this, bruh. In the time that Musashi was in midair, he manages to draw his spear back into battle position and line it up with Musashi. Musashi's like, yo, what the hell? This nigga managed to draw back his spear with just the flick of his wrist? The narrator starts talking again. He's like, at that moment, in both the minds of the genius and the mind of the Neo, it was clear that this was the end of the fight. The two of them, they're going after each other, right? They're like in midair, right? This is all happening in fractions of a second. Everyone's watching, right? We got earlobes on one end. Tadakatsu, go! We got Musashi's pops, right? Because both of these, Tokugawa for Tadakatsu and Musashi's pops for Musashi, that's basically like their dads, bro. They care about those two like their own sons, even in the case of Tokugawa, where he's not technically his son. Oda Nobunaga, the person running the fight, he lets out a laugh. We get a splatter of blood across the battlefield. The ending that they could both foresee coming was this ending right here. Honda Tadakatsu would sacrifice his left arm to block the swords and pierce his spear straight through Musashi's heart. But you see, this was the ending that they saw. Musashi, he's like, oh shit, I blundered. If this dude puts his arm up and blocks my attack, he got me. We get a look in the Tadakatsu's mind. He's thinking to himself, he's like, if I give my arm up, I will win this fight. However, I'm not here. Basically, if I give my arm up, I will win this fight. However, if I want to win this tournament, if I want to allow Gramps to take the country for himself, then I'm not going to be able to fight with one arm, right? So I'm going to have to risk it all, bro. I need both of my arms, which means I need to see who has more speed with their attack, me or Musashi. He swings his blade forward as Musashi swings his own blade forward, right? Musashi's like, hold on, he's in midair. He's like, yo, what the fuck? He's thinking to himself, he's like, wait, and I'm sorry, I'm getting too hyped. Tadakatsu, he's thinking to himself, he's like, I know you've seen the same ending that I have. You won't be able to react to this thrust. So regardless of what's happening, Honda Tadakatsu sees his victory as assured. Musashi, he's taken off guard, right? You can see his arms are in the air, right? The blade is closing in on his body. However, through pure instinct, through pure genius, through pure adaptability, he manages to block the blade right before it hits him. And he swings through it, slashing through the Tombokiri. Everybody's like, yo, No way. I just saw what I think I saw. This nigga just broke the Tombo Kiri. What's going on? All of a sudden, Musashi, he's like, oh yeah, it's time for the final blow. He brings his sword back. And that nigga Tadakatsu, he's not going out either. He brings his fist back. Nigga says, fuck a spear. I'll do this hand to hand. I'll do this barehanded. He swings his hand forward. Musashi, he swings his sword. And in the blink of an eye, we see 2 slashes come across Tadakatsu's chest. Everybody's like, yo, that's crazy. And we get a look at earlobes. We get a look at Tokugawa. He looks absolutely shook. Musashi, one of his swords is broken, right? He's sliding back. His body, he can no longer withstand the pain. But Tadakatsu, he's doubled over. Blood dripping from his chest into a pool on the ground. He's cooked. He's like, well, so this is the end, huh? This is it. And everybody watching is like, yo, did we just watch the Honda Tadakatsu lose a fight? Musashi, he's confused. He's like, Unc, why? If you had just given up your left arm, you would have won that fight. Like, I couldn't have beat you there. You would have blocked my sword and stabbed me. Tadakatsu's like, think about it, kid. He's laughing, right? He's laughing in the face of death. He's like, think about it, kid. Even if I beat you and sacrifice my arm, what good is it? I couldn't win the rest of the tournament. The Tenkaichi isn't so forgiving that I could just keep moving on with my right arm. And so anything other than me and my peak form is worthless. Gramps, right? He got tears in his eyes now. And then he's like, nah, I'm just making excuses. Even without giving up my left arm, I had a good chance of winning there. I could have stabbed you. But shit, you're just different, my boy. You were just strong. That's all. All of a sudden, he starts coughing out blood, right? You know, he's spitting out blood everywhere. He's in a giant pool of blood on the ground. Everyone watching is like, damn, we got Hanzo, the person who went into battle with him back in the day. Hanzo, he's praying for him. And Tadakatsu, he's just sitting there. He's like, I'm sorry, Gramps. I failed you. Gramps, he starts running out into the field. He's like, Tadakatsu, I'm sorry, Tadakatsu. I never should have brought you to this tournament anyway. You know, he's running out to save him, to be next to him in his last moments, you know? That's damn near his son in his mind. And as he's running out to the field, Oda Nobunaga speaks up. Takashio, don't ruin my entertainment. Everyone looks over at the Shogun. They're like, yo, this nigga is tweaking. The Shogun speaks up. He's like, anyone at all who dares put a damper on this death match will not be spared. All of a sudden, 2, 3, 4, like 20 niggas with firearms come out from under the stage, right? Yagi was like, what? He had these niggas hiding in the background. Even the attendant is like, oh shit, this is bad. This is bad. He had gunmen, bro. Everyone's like, yo, what the hell is going on right now, bro? What's going on? They're trying to make sense of this. All these random gunmen that have run onto the field. The gunmen, they get in the stance and they line up the barrels of their gun to face Tokugawa. We get a look at Tokugawa. He bites his lip. He's scared as hell. But he's like, nah, Tadakatsu is my retainer. It is my duty as Lord to stay by him in his final moments. Nothing any of you niggas can say will stop me. Nobunaga's like, say less. Open fire. They line up their guns. They let them Jones click. And as the bullets are about to close in on Tokugawa, guess who stands back up? Guess who stands back up? They're like, what the hell? The firing squad, pop, pop, pop. They let them bullets rip. Musashi is like, yo, Unk, what are you doing? The bullets fly through midair. This nigga Tadakatsu, he starts tanking all of the bullets to the chest, bruh. Standing there like Piccolo before Gohan, bruh. Tanking them bullets in order to save Tokugawa. Musashi, at this point, even Musashi, he don't give a fuck about... Okay, now there's a train going by. I don't even know if y'all can hear that train in the background, but I don't even know if you can hear that train in the background, bruh. But he starts tanking those bullets, bro. Musashi, who doesn't give a fuck about any of this shit, he's like, yo, Unk, what are you doing? Hanzo, Musashi's old partner in crime, is like, yo, what are you doing? He's tanking these bullets to the face, bro. They're knocking off his ear, bro. Knocking off chunks of his body. Tokugawa's like, Tadakatsu, get out the way. Honda Tadakatsu, he's like, Gramps, in these 10 years or so since Lord Nobunaga took over the country and put an end to all wars, I tried to, live my life to be happy. But at the end of the day, I can't live in a world without war. I live for war. I'm glad you were able to rely on me, Gramps. I, Honda Hihachiro Tadakatsu, has performed his last act of loyalty. He's tanking these bullets in front of Tokugawa's face. Boom, 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 boom. You see them punching holes through his body, through his face, through his head, through his hair. And Tokugawa can't do anything but sit there until Nobunaga's finally like, cease your fire, right? We get a look at Tadakatsu. He's not in a good state, bro. He's not in a good state. He's absolutely covered in blood. Tokugawa, he starts crying. He's like, no, my son. The Shogun, he lets out a little laugh, bro. And everybody watching, he's like, yo, how can this dude still be standing after getting lit the fuck up like this? He is a true warrior. Tokugawa, he's like, I'm sorry, Tadakatsu. Tadakatsu, he reaches down one last time and lifts Gramps up onto his shoulder. As his body is giving out, he says his last words. Tokugawa Ieyasu, I'm happy that I could fight for you. Tokugawa, he's like, fool, you really are far too great a retainer for me. What the Oh, that was just my Alexa. He's like, fool, you really are far too great a retainer for me. And as he's saying this, the part of Tadakatsu's body that had been slashed by Musashi earlier slips off the rest of his body. Half of his body falls off, and the other half of his body is still there, standing strong, holding up Tokugawa. Tokugawa's like, no, he goes to the ground. He hugs like the decapitated he hugs the decapitated version of, or the decapitated half of Honda's body. And, everybody watching, they're just moved to tears, bro. They're like, bro, this shit was so sad, bro. The retainer, he's like, I too someday want to die for Nobunaga. But anyway, the proxy battle to take over the country, match 1. The winner is Choso Kabe Motochika's sponsored fighter, Miyamoto Musashi. Let me look at the poll real quick. I think now's a good time to look at the poll. Okay, we have Musashi 61-31. We had Musashi winning 61-31. Okay, you niggas got that right. I respect it. But Musashi, he's won the first round. I'm gonna take another sip of water real quick because we actually still got a fair bit left for the stream. What we think of round 1, though? Let's just talk about that real quick. What we think of round 1? We rocking with that? Not gonna lie, you earned that, Musashi, a dog. You're my goat, Teddy. Thank you, Casey24. 91 voters and only 53 watching. That's illegal. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who have voted and then left the stream. Make sure to like up the stream if you haven't already, by the way. Like up that stream, bruh. Like up the stream. Like up the stream, yo. But yeah, that was a squabble. And we're not done yet, all right? We still got some more to read, so don't leave just yet. Don't leave just yet. The stream not done yet. The stream is not done yet. Round 1 was tough. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me see if I can gift the Musashi was based off me. No, I'm pretty sure Musashi was based off Musashi, bruh. Let me see if I can gift these memberships. Don't head out just yet, you know. Yeah, I don't know how. They say like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna figure out how to gift these memberships though, but we're gonna get back into it in like 20 seconds. I just need to give my throat a rest. Pause. Round 1. That was round 1. All right, let's get back into it. We get a look at Musashi after it's announced that he won the fight. And he has his hand balled into a fist, right? His fist is twitching, bro. He's angry. Chosokabe, the person representing Musashi, he's like, we won. We should be celebrating, right? And Musashi's pops is like, I agree, but we get a look at Musashi. That nigga don't look happy. That nigga don't look happy at all. Musashi's dad, he's like, yo, Musashi, are you good? And, you know, we get a look at Tokugawa. He's still crying over the Neo's body. And Hanzo is like, my lord, maintain your composure. He looks down at Tadakatsu and he's like, man, this nigga right here, this utter fool, through all of that, he still died with a smile on his face. I don't care what y'all say, bro. Tadakatsu, Honda, the Neo, whatever you want to call him, bro. That's a cold guy. That's a cold nigga right there, bro. That's you gotta respect it, bro. You gotta respect it. But we hear from the narrator. You know, he's telling us the first battle of the Tenkaichi ended with Tadakatsu's death and with Musashi's victory. Musashi, he's still talking to Tadakatsu. He's like, Unc, if you didn't have something to protect, if you weren't out there fighting for your lord, would I have lost? So you value your lord above your strength? Above your own life? I don't get that shit. Like, it's just not processing, bro. That's just not how Musashi operates. And, you know, Tokugawa, he's still talking to Honda. He's like, I understand, Tadakatsu. It was in order to elevate me to supremacy over the country that you took the ultimate gamble and lost. Otherwise, you wouldn't have lost that fight. It wouldn't have been possible for you to lose. You fool. It's a true pity you had to be my retainer. The narrator talks again, and this is like kind of the interesting part to me. The narrator tells us that on this day, it was made so that the Edo period, the most peaceful period in Japan's history and the most prosperous time for the culture of the masses, which lasted 260 years under 15 generations of the Tokugawa shogunate, this would never come to pass. And so, you know, this is kind of tying in this like historical fiction element again, right? Because IRL, and I'm not no Japanese historian, so, you know, if any of y'all know, or if any of y'all watching the VOD know, correct me if I'm wrong. But I think IRL, obviously there wasn't like a succession battle, right? IRL, the Tokugawa shogunate would be, you know, the people who would come into power, right? Tokugawa came into power and started the Edo period. This is from what I understand and from my brief bit of research I did while putting this together. And so, yeah, this is basically like a divergent history, right? This is like This is like if George Washington had never won the Revolutionary War, or like, some shit like that. You know what I mean? So basically, we're rewriting all of Japan's history through this tournament. And the narrator tells us that from this day on, Japan's history would be written through carnage and slaughter. And we get a look at Nobunaga, the tweaking shogun, and he's just laughing his ass off, bruh. He is enjoying every second of this squabble. Oh, is this near the end of the live? Not yet. We still got I'd say we probably still got a cool 30 minutes left, just about. Anywho, we get a look at Musashi, right? One of the healers, medics, he's like, yo, Musashi, a good fight. Allow us to treat your wounds so you could be ready for the next round. And Musashi's like, nah, you're not touching me. No need for that. That fight for my life with the old man, it put an end to the life that I thought was anything but fun. Each one of these cuts that I have on my body represents something. It represents something that helped awaken me. And thanks to these cuts that this man put on my body, I was able to beat that massive Neo. And so he just casually turns around and starts walking away. And the medic is like, wait, but if you leave them untreated, you might die a horrible death. And Musashi, he don't give a damn. He's like, it's still not enough. There are others at this tournament. There are others who are strong. I can continue to fight. I can continue to get stronger. I can keep feasting on the lives of the strong people at this tournament and become the strongest martial artist in the land. The Tenkaichi, we get a look at this dude's face, right? A shadow is cast over. He's in tweak mode again, bro. The fight is over. He's still in tweak mode. Very, very interesting kid that we have here. Because remember, this is a 16-year-old kid. Big swole ass nigga, 6'7", 16-year-old. Niggas talking about the Tenkaichi. Niggas need to get him in the NBA finals, bruh. Big ass nigga. But he walks back to his pops and them, and Chosokabe, the person representing him, he starts glazing him, starts gassing him up. He's like, oh, great job, Musashi. I believed in you the whole time, knowing damn well that every other time Musashi was put against the wall, Chosokabe was the first nigga, no, we gonna lose the fight, blah, 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 blah. But Musashi's pops, he's looking at him and he's like, is this Musashi? Is this my son? This presence about him. It's as if he was a completely different person than before the fight. Like his whole aura is just different. Musashi, he's like, Dad, this Tenkaichi, it's the best. Thanks for bringing me along. Musashi's pops looks at him as he's walking away. He's like, yeah, there's no mistaking it. Through that match with Honda that we just witnessed right now, that tremendous talent from the sword, which had stayed stagnant within him, that no one else could awaken, it's about to be awakened. And it's about to grow into a much more massive tree than I could have ever imagined. We get a look at Musashi, bro. Nigga looks utterly demonic right now. Around the same time the first match came to an end, we have one of Nobunaga's retainers, right? He's going to meet with the people who will be fighting in the second bout. So we see this dude, right? He's a retainer. He's like, it's Konoe's turn. And Konoe is the lord, once again, who's representing the fighter. We get a look at this kind of old, disheveled ass face. He's like, huh? God damn, about damn time, bruh. I've been waiting here all this damn time to be in the spotlight, waiting for this fight to end. And you niggas just got me over here waiting, bruh. But I got so worn out from waiting, my back hurts. We get a look at him full spread. We see this old ass nigga, bro, an old blind ass nigga, right? He's talking to, the person helping him. He's like, I'm blind, so guide me the whole way there to the battlefield, will ya? And so, just looking at this picture right here, the dude in the back with the crazy ass hat on, that's the Lord, right? And then the dude at the front, the old head with the swords, that is the person who's going to be fighting in round 2. But anyway, he's like, yeah, I'm blind, so, just guide me to the battlefield. I don't want to trip over anything, so yeah. And we see that this guy right here, his name is Toda Segan. The person helping him out, the person leading him to the battlefield, he's like, all right, yeah, I got you. And, you know, the Lord, the sponsor, he's like, all right. He's like, yeah, let's make our way to the battlefield. Let's get this. Mr. Blackie said, we all know how old heads be, you know? We know how old heads be. But he's like, yeah, let's make our way to the battlefield. All of a sudden, a stone, right? He's like, whoa, I think that's a stone. A stone hits him in the head. And the dude who came to bring him to the battlefield, he's pissed as hell, right? Now, this is one of Nobunaga's retainers. He's like, yo, Kono, what the fuck do you got going on here, bro? What is your intention here? Why are you making this senile old man fight before Lord Oda Nobunaga? That is completely irreverent, bro. You're tweaking. Old head is like, shit, now I've done it. We get a look at the Lord. He's happy, right? He got a little smirk on his face. He putting his fan up to his face. He like, what makes you say that? Why can't my old head fight? The dude is bringing him out to the fight. He's like, well, what you mean, why can't he fight? He probably can't even fight. Shit, even I could slash him. Old head is like, yo, shut your lame ass up, blockhead. The dude turns around. He's like, who are you calling a blockhead? He's yelling at him, right? Old head, he mad, chill with it, mad casual. He's like, hey, bruh, I told you to calm down, blockhead, faster than anyone can even see. Slices that nigga's hand off. He's like, I ain't so senile that I would just let you throw in that rock slide. The dude is like, my hand. And as he's yelling about his hand that just got cut off, trying to process this all of a sudden, his nose fall off of his body, right? Old head gets another slice on him. He's like, you know, he's in pain now. He's grabbing his nose that got sliced off. Old head, he just playing with them, right? He's like, oh, whoops, my bad. I missed your neck, you know? My eyes don't do me that much good. I'm blind. Is your neck here? Slices off his ear. He's like, is your neck here? You know, just slicing off different part of his faces. And, you know, the dude is like, no, stop, please, I'm sorry. Old head is like, I can't hear you too well. If you're really a samurai, you should speak more clearly. We get a look down at old head, right? He's opening his eye with his fingers, right? We see like the blindness, the cataracts in his eyes. He's like, this is why I hate Oda's retainers. You feel me, blockhead? You feel what I'm saying? And blockhead is like, I'm sorry, but you know, things don't always go our way in life. Let's just put it like that. We get to look back out to the battlefield, and Oda's retainer, the announcer, is like, moving on. The fierce clash of the first match has ended, so let's move on to the second match. Who will win this battle? Let's move on to the second match. Whoever wins this battle will face Miyamoto Musashi, the man who defeated the Neo. Round 1, match 2. Let's get it started. He turns to one corner, right? He's like, the warrior representing the Konoha clan, make your entrance. The doors start sliding open. Niggas start hitting the gongs again. Doom, 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 doom. My girl, she starts playing the little strings. Ding, 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 ding. But the announcer starts, you know, doing a little prelude, right? They're like, he may be an old man whose vision is long gone, whose body is well past its prime, low-key flaming him for no reason. But then they're like, however, all strong men alike say, don't mess with Toda. And, you know, he's like, why is a man who should be anything but strong so feared? Right here, right now, this blind old swordsman's strength will be put to the test. We get a look at old head. He just smiling casually, right? The Kodachi Musu, Toda Seigen. Now remember, he's blind, right? So he can't really, you know, see what's going on around him right now. But he's listening. And he's like, oh, there's less people here than I thought there would be. And, you know, the people surrounding him, the spectators of the fight, they're like, oh my god, bro, they bought out a blind geezer. Like, can he fight? Why the fuck you gonna bring out a blind old head? And we get to look at old head, you know, his ears are crazy, right? Because you know how anime blind people they be having to make up for it with the rest of their senses, right? But old head's ears are crazy. He's like, I can hear all of your doubt. I can hear all of these niggas talking crazy on my name right now. And he's like, Shige, go ahead and show him what we do to niggas like them. Big buff ass nigga Shige throws something out onto the battlefield, right? Stomp. The thing hits the battlefield. He's like, anyone who wants to talk down on me right now, anyone who wants to talk crazy can come say it to my face. And all y'all scum bitches about to end up like him. Nigga throws the decapitated head that he defiled earlier onto the battlefield, bruh. The retainer is like, yo, what the hell is this? Everyone's like, yo, is that a dome? This nigga threw a dome on the field, and then they're like, wait, that's not just any old dome. That's one of Oda's retainers. And he's like, yeah, well, you know, I didn't mean to go crazy like that, but, you know, I guess I got a bit carried away. And everyone's like, yo, you got carried away. That's one of Oda's retainers. Are you crazy? Are you trying to start beef with the Oda clan? Old head's like, man, shut that bullshit up already. Just so you know, I only really came through here because I was offered a fight. So if any of y'all got anything to say, how about you come out here and squabble with this old head yourself? He then looks at the Shogun himself. He's like, ain't that right, little Oda boy? He calls this Shogun a little boy to his face. Oda, he just, yes, very good. Like, he just enjoying the spectacle, right? Yagyu, he's watching. He's like, the master of the Kodachi, Toda Seigen. Oh dear, I'm sure looking forward to this fight. And Toda, he's like, you stupid fucking Shogun. And, you know, we kind of get into some glaze, right? You know, some explanation of just how cold it is, right? Apparently, neck bones are pretty sturdy. Decapitation is very hard to do. You know, you have to cut through the gap in between people's vertebrae to slice their head off. And so, you know, even with a motionless criminal, there aren't many people who can behead somebody in one slice. And they're like, but this blind old man, somehow he was able to do it. You know, he seems all sparkly. He just seems different. Old head just sitting there chilling, picking his nose on some nasty shit. He's like, hey, has the fight started yet? And the retainer is like, oh yeah, now things are getting interesting. This old man could even match up to that legendary clan. We get a look at the other end, right? The other corner. Moving on. The warrior representing the Hojo clan. Make your entrance. The doors slide open. And the announcer, you know, they start giving the little entrance. What is the strongest armed force of the Sengoku period? Was it the fierce cavalry of Takeda? Old head don't give a damn. He flicking boogers off his fingers and shit. And the retainer's like, no, there is a force in this world that makes even Takeda's cavalry tremble in fear. It is the ninja force known as Fuma. We get to look at these like claws that this dude has, right? And he's like, and from among their leaders, from among those who inherited the name of Kotaro, there is one called the strongest. Now, to put this into more, I don't know, like more common anime terms, he's basically calling this dude the Hokage, right? So I'm gonna be calling this dude the Hokage for the rest of the stream, and however else long we cover this story. But they're like, and from among the leaders, from among all of those who inherited the title of Hokage, there is one called the strongest, the cloak and dagger of the Hojo clan, Fuma Kotaro the fifth. So basically the fifth Hokage, right? So the fifth Hokage, we get a look at this dude, right? Big ass nigga, huge nigga, bro. Nigga got his hands. Nigga walked out into the battlefield in handcuffs, bro. You know, nigga's hair look crazy. He's wearing this crazy, like, bird-like plague doctor mask. This nigga looks absolutely demonic. The person, you know, representing is like, yeah, we came from the Kanto region to take over the whole country. And everybody watching is like, yo, this nigga who they just walked out is huge. This nigga's even bigger than Musashi. Like, okay, this about to be crazy. The announcer, they take a breath again. However, the one to appear in the Tenkaichi will not be the fifth Hokage. We see a shadow figure up on the roof. Everybody's like, what? They're like, among the Fuma, the one who has inherited the Hokage title from the fifth, descending upon the Tenkaichi stage. All of a sudden, fifth Hokage, doom, they get slammed into the ground. The person who will be fighting is not this bird nigga. It is the Fuma Empress, the sixth Hokage. We get a look at this lady, bro. Now, first of all, damn! But anywho, she is jumped off the roof, landed on this nigga's back, bro. Sitting on this nigga like a chair, smoking a pipe, just mad casual. Everybody's like, a woman? You know, they start thinking some crazy things that I had to bleep out of the shit. You know what I'm saying? Also, I need you horny ass niggas to keep your composure, bruh. I will be banning niggas, bruh. I will be banning niggas, bruh. So, but, yeah, they're all sitting there. They're like, yo, I didn't think it was possible when they announced the matchup, since, you know, I knew there was a woman here, but is she really gonna fight? Like, what is going on? She takes a puff of smoke, mad casual, you know, blows mad smoke everywhere. I'm not gonna lie, that's a lot of damn smoke. But she gets up and she's like, no, let's see who the enemy is. She looks at him and she's like, how bland. Even if given a choice, Kotaro would have preferred an opponent with a little more fat on them. Now, she refers to herself in the third person, like she refers to herself as Kotaro. That just kind of happens, and so that's probably something I'm just gonna note now that y'all should know. But yeah, old head is like, huh? Yeah. Wait. Oh yeah. I think I had to cut out another panel because niggas was saying some crazy. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, she basically calls this nigga a dried monkey to his face, and he's like, "Yo, who the fuck you calling a dried monkey?" She puts the little pipe up to her mouth again, takes another whiff. She's like, "Well, I'm never one to shy away from a meal. Sometimes the stranger the food, the better the taste." Goddamn Shikamaru over here. I don't know who this nigga is. I'm gonna call him Shikamaru, but he's just laughing. He's like, everyone seems surprised that the 6th gen leader is a woman. And yet, that girl surpassed the 5th generation's martial arts ability. Everyone will be surprised by the power of the Empress. She takes another puff of smoke, lets it out. All of a sudden, she's like, Pochi, 5th Hokage, nigga hits a woof. Niggas are like, did this nigga just woof? Did she just get this nigga to woof? Like, I know you niggas heard that. She just got this nigga to woof. The dude, he grabs this big ass like metal shuriken, right? Like this huge metal shuriken on a chain. He's lifting it up with both hands. Yagyu's watching. He's like, what is that? All of a sudden, he flings the shuriken with both hands, sling, out to the battlefield. And she catches that joint out of midair. Everyone's watching. They're like, oh shit, homegirl might really be like that. Like, she might really be crazy. We might have underestimated her. We might be a little sexist. And the retainer is like, don't tell me. That's the great heirloom of the Fuma Ninja Corps, the Fuma Shuriken. And we get a look at her, bruh. She got this big, heavy ass metal shuriken in her hand that her swole ass is just holding casually, bruh. Everyone's watching. They're like, nigga, you said that was a shuriken? That thing in her hand right there, that can't be a shuriken. That thing is way too big to be a shuriken. Even Yagyu is like, oh dear, that shuriken is quite amazing, but more than that. He opens his eyes, right? You know what happens when the closed eye niggas in anime open their eyes. You know, shit's getting serious. He's like, it's hard to believe that she stopped that giant mass of metal mid-flight with only one hand. Even Oda Nobunaga himself is impressed. He's like, Old Head is like, that's a hefty clank that thing made just now. Are shinobi really cut out to carry around that sort of thing? And the Fuma Empress, she's like, how impatient. Wouldn't it be boring if I just told you